everybody. Thank you for coming. I really appreciate it. I'm going to give you some thoughts about decision making in context of design and business. As decision making stands for business, so this comes natural. And I hope you'll enjoy it. You find it interesting. You learn something from it. Maybe inspire a little bit. So a year ago, I have a really great conversation with my friend, and we're discussing a topic of design maturity. Like we took it through all the dimensions of how it grows. So we looked through through our experience, we look on how companies grow, we look how it scales on the market, we look to the field, we look through like all the idea of holistic view and how multidisciplinary it is. And basically also look on some people that we know who are very experienced designers, or who were very experienced designers, and very quickly became super successful managers. And it was a long conversation, and at the end of it, we asked ourselves a question, is design the new management? And in a few slides, I'm going to show you my thoughts on it, how I got deeper into this topic, and maybe, and I hope it's going to be nice for you. So what's going on? So let's make a change a perspective a little bit. So what's going on in the business? Like every company, like looking for, I'm more or less 10 years doing digital products, so looking through my whole career and looking 10 years backwards. And when I talk to different people, I made research, I watch a lot of lectures from conferences. I see a few things, and these are five things that like got to my mind that I started thinking on like decision-making process through design. So first is encouraging every people to learn the design. Like I see a lot of, in organizations, I see a lot of approach that companies says to people, you can do design, it's very easy. Design thinking approach is something that you can learn in 5 days and implement, and we're going to make a lot of value for a company, for a product, for improvement. And of course, this is not true, but the thing that organization says that, and the thing that organizations think like this, means that they see a value in a design approach. So this is a kind of a nice sign. Okay, everything is like centric, so it's user-centric, customer-centric, now everything-centric, but not a company-centric. So also that kind of an idea shows that even that companies does not basically follow these ideas, they promote it. So they feel and they know that value is inside it. So they know that like design behind the management can give a really significant result. Design processes, there was a lot of ideas about design process you've seen during the day, different approaches, and it of course evolves, and companies have their own design processes. They're getting better, they're getting more complex, and so on. And of course, this means that also a lot of strategy is behind it. So on the design phase, there's a lot of strategical thinking happening. So also the product strategy, this managed by managers, happens through a design process. So the managers are involved into this process, and this also stands for it. What I see is that the designers, the experienced ones, argue a lot with the managers, and this is also something that is happening a lot. And of course, there is more and more designers, and this our field grows, and there is more people involved in it. So everyone's starting to see that this is basically easy to learn, like on a basic level, but really difficult to master. And this also gives some information to a company that there is some value behind this knowledge and this learning. So let's change a dimension a little bit. So how do people make decisions? And there are 3 states of making decisions. So we make decisions being sure, not being sure, or giving credibility, some credibility. So most of the decisions that people do are based on the risk. So like what I wanted to say in here is that design approach, design approach gives a lot of like do a lot of research and makes a lot of testing and have to put a lot of attention to make their ideas and their solutions and their products, everything that designers work on, credible. So basically, if what's different here between a classical like management school and management driven through design is that designers in most of the time give a certain value to or give a certain credibility or certain probability that the idea and the solution that came out from the process will happen, will give particular results, and you can put on it. So like making decisions on risk. So what designers do is like making less risk, putting more credibility through research testing and different stuff. And another thing that is like that is important in like making decisions is intuition analysis, and I get to it a little later. But I want to think about it like the way that most of the time intuition is based on some kind of analysis, and analyses are based on intuition. So when you do analysis, you are kind of biased in the way you are, and intuition is also some more difficult and complex process, not like something happening right away when it comes to make a decision. So basically, these are little different models. On the left, you can see a Ralph Keeney model of value-focused decision-making. And this shows a difference between classical view of decision-making and the one that most of designers take, or most of designers follow. Like classical management looks for alternatives. So there's a big picture of something, and you have some problem to solve, and you have some solution to bring, and you look for different alternatives. And from these alternatives, like you put some strategies, you can analyze it, and you, based on like different tools and methods that design approach provides, you can decide on which alternative you take. So it's like narrowing the vision of a big picture to get to the point which is the best for in a like closed environment. What designers do is taking the narrow idea, so some smaller idea or smaller amount of like information, and looking for perspective. So basically the whole idea of product discovery or wide researching, looking for information, finding ideas is kind of not taking what already exists, but looking for something new, trying to find out or create something, like make the new, like disrupt, do something more than already is available in the market. And what you see on the right is one of the best definitions that I've seen in my life of differentiating optimization from innovation. And basically, a lot of companies do a lot of optimization telling that they innovate. And it's okay because like innovation is a nice word to say, and it's catchy, and it's good to say that company is innovative, not only working on optimization, but the difference in these learning loops, which is assumptions. So basically, when you work on a product or process or project or anything, and you like have some defects or have something to improve, and you make action on improvement, there is a level that you can get, and nothing is more. So if you improve everything, optimize the process, the product, the idea that you work on, like you get to the point, and it's done. And also what designers do, and what design approach comes, and some other approaches too, but like focusing on our field, is changing assumptions. So like you can do action and expect the fact and optimize, but in the same time, you can learn in another loop and change some assumptions. So you like looking on a left picture and taking this right bottom idea is like shaking this a cube, like moving it and giving it different direction and like trying to reshape it in another way, like so visually how I see it. So what I wanted to say is that you can shape a product by different design decisions. And here are some examples from myself and from my friends, how when it happened and how you can do it. So for example, at the beginning of the process or at the beginning of the project, you can decide on using like new methods or new tools that shape the process. So vision and strategy of the product is also something that you can design. And to give you an example, a friend of mine from ING, I worked a few years in ING, Ula, is working on a kind of a great project, great macro project, and she proposed to her management team a methods from speculative design methods and tools. And they decided they will try to figure out the vision, the strategy, and they followed like the full process of strategic foresight tools and so on. And basically, based on design field, the knowledge, the ideas, and the very holistic view that stands behind it, they shape the vision and the strategy of the product on the design methods and working with design and cooperating strongly with design. My experience from like 10 years ago was I was working on a big healthcare project, and there was kind of an idea to redesign it, but I didn't know a lot about accessibility, and my client didn't know nothing about accessibility, and he didn't expect like doing anything this way. But preparing some accessibility requirements, which was pretty poor because I wasn't kind of experienced and didn't have knowledge for it. But I did something to show him that he can get additional value through implementing some stuff that will improve on the product and give some other perspective and can bring some new customers and can bring some new value. So I put some metrics on accessibility through this design phase, and I show him how it can affect his future incomes and his future ideas and how this product can evolve and he can sell it better. Last year I was talking about some idea of postponing and making design easy for future. It is also an example from ING. We're working on a architecture, changing of information architecture, and there was like a lot of stakeholders, very difficult to discuss, very difficult to like take into the process and like make them help us manage the process through our like design tools and methods. And we saw that something won't work directly because they're not still yet at the place. So what we did is we designed the change of infrastructure. So we prepared it technically to be easy to implement in the future and gave some time to the stakeholders to get to this idea, to understand it better, and also to designer to improve it, to find some more proof, to like give more credit, make it more credible. It's like to show that these decisions are little of risk and have full credibility and can implement and do things in the right way. And you can do it also with different things, like you can prototype to experiments. So there's also a place when you can put some ideas and you can propose something new, like out of the box, like this, looking for perspective. Even then there is the full product discovery and idea, because we work iteratively on this. You can manage, the processes are different. You saw it through many presentations today, and it's good to shape your own process and to put in ideas that help you help the managers to think of this product through like the whole phase from the beginning to the end as it lives on the market, or somehow support the development. Like you can also put some ideas on how it's developed, and for example auditing at early stages of implementation to show different stakeholders the additional value, not to stop on what's done, to very quickly move this process back and look for ideas that can be behind it, that were left, that if the process wasn't perfect, and there are ideas that obviously can manage the product better, give better values, give some indicators that are business valuable, and so on. So, and these are only a few examples, and you can do it. You can do it through your process, doing like all the basic stuff that the good processes provide, and how we work with the products and so on. But you can think wider, and there is a space in design for like managing the process, products, managers' decisions, and kind of idea. Okay, so putting some reflection on theory, I want to show you one nice thing, which on the left, the one on the left, probably most of you know, like whole e-commerce is based on that. So it's kind of on system 1 and 2, based on intuition and analysis. And like we know the brain traps that we have and how people are biased, so how they like make intuitive decisions on and how the designers can help them to like make decisions they think they want, and analysis. But the more important, or something that I was like getting involved a lot, and I was doing a deep research on, is recognition prime-based decision model by Gary Klein. Gary Klein is, you probably know Gary Klein, but he's a friend of Kahneman, and he was also working on the same field. And basically, I read his books, and I didn't find this model in it. I found it on the internet, but I put it in here because I think this describes the best on how intuition works. So Gary Klein made a great research on firefighters, and he was analyzing how firefighters act in a different situation based on their experience. So what he proved is that our intuition builds through a mental model based on situation and patterns that appear in different situations. So basically, it's like if you experience a lot and you get to the situation, you can make very good decisions based on your intuition, even better ones that are based on analysis or on the data. And this is because you already was in some situations, you already had an idea on how to act, and your brain transformed it in a way to make the best decision. So what I wanted to say is in here, and this might be a little controversial, if you have a team, and in your team you have a person who is like 15 years experience, and he's done like hundreds of researches, and he designed different products and ideas and solutions, and he's a super experienced person, and you're designing a kind of new product, his intuition might be better decision to make than the new research than you do on this product. And this is because, okay, you can say you don't know the situation, you don't know the users, there's a new context, and so on. Yeah, and that's true, and it's always good to make a research, and I work a lot with it, and I'm like, I 100% accept and follow these ideas, but this model gives me some reflection on decision making, and to my experience and to observing my colleagues who were and are better experienced than me, and sometimes they already know. And this is based on some researches. So the situation is that you can make one research on something new that you're working on, but there might be people who already had 5 researches, made few products, were taking decisions like that, and they instantly will give you more value to the process than a classical research or interview. And basically, it's also time save and cost saving. So, like, this is something just for you to have an idea about. And one more thing that, like, through this whole decision-making process thinking and this whole design approach through decision-making process to the management is like, you've probably seen a lot of different pyramids or stairs that look like this. This is some kind of a design maturity model. Basically, I made it myself, but it's based on hundreds that are available in internet. and in different books and through different authors. But what is important in here, most of these pyramids like have two highest steps are design is a strategy and design drives the management. There are companies who really, I haven't met one yet, or I haven't worked in one yet, but there are companies who are really at this level, and design appears already on a strategic level, and there are companies, and like this is probably nothing new, but just to like make this idea work in my head, and I hope in your head, it's like, I want to say, it is possible to drive the management through design, and kind of because of how it evolves, how this field increases, how we learn a lot, how it was always multidisciplinary, but how multidisciplinary it becomes, it gives designers a great opportunity, at great advantage in the field of management, or in the field of giving some to the management. So this is basically it. So I won't say that design is a new management, but design can drive a management in a better way, like looking through a theory and looking through like different ideas and through my experience and experience of other designers that I talked to, that we go deeper through in this topic and analyzed. Design is a great value for management, and there is definitely a space for design and management. And maybe it sounds like simple, but there's some really strong idea behind that. And thank you very much for this. And you can reach me at LinkedIn. Yeah.
Bartłomiej Lenard.